Good evening. This video I am making particularly for the parents of uh, children studying in schools in our states, Telangana and Andhra Pradesh. I'm Dr. Ramakrishna Aduri. I'm an education consultant. And when I look at the children, school children, and watch what is happening around, I tell you very categorically something that the situation is worrying, it's very disturbing, and it's strangely alarming. I should tell the parents, of course, something about my observations. And children have got a lot of time, whether they're attending the online classes or not, particularly those students who are not attending the online classes. They're wasting a lot of time using electronic gadgets provided by the parents. Parents, many cases, of course, they don't have control on what children are watching, doing, playing games, or like anything like video games, whatsoever it is. But effectively, what I have found, of course, is that the time is not being used productively. A lot of time is being wasted. And therefore, parents should think very seriously to send the students, to attend the online classes, probably at the comfort of home, not that they have to go anywhere leaving the house. They can stay at home and they can still make the students attend the online classes very seriously. My point here is, if they attend the classes even for say 2 or 3 hours, and if they do some homework and some written assignments for another 1 or 2 hours, of course, that can be pretty good for all the children, and they need not forget the subject, and they can remember the subjects, of course, and it's advantageous in several ways. And therefore, all the parents must think very seriously and go and talk to the school managements and find out the ways of productively using the time. Okay, whatever time we have got here, it is a very strange situation, and how exactly we have to use this time for the benefit of the students. And if so much time is wasted, which is not productively used, see, it's not just damage what you can probably manifest in terms of losing some lessons. It's much more than that. They forget what they learned earlier, like they are now getting alienated from the serious education, learner engagement and all that. So if they start forgetting the fundamentals, it's very difficult to rebuild the whole thing. It's not easy. Sometimes if they forget the basic operations, the basic language skills, and the basic mathematical thinking and all, the damage can be very extensive, and it takes so much of time for sometimes to repair that, and it may be some years now to get them back to the normal stream. And there is no daily practice of reading. Let us say your child is not spending much time, as much as he is supposed to spend with the books, writing and all that. When there is no reading, the reading becomes very slow. The comprehension becomes, that reading comprehension, understanding by reading, that becomes very slow. The writing becomes very slow when the writing assignments are not given sufficiently. And therefore, the effect has got, it's a cascading effect, not just one losing a few lessons and not attending, abstaining from the school. It's much more than that. And we don't know how ultimately it's going to influence the students' caliber and the prowess there. And more than that, I have found something that's in a situation rather, I don't know, it's a puzzle for me too. It's a conundrum. It's a mysterious circumstance. It's inscrutable. And it is that the children are feeling that insecurity. How long is this? When do I see my friends? When do I play? When do I attend my assembly? And when do I meet my teacher? And when do I take a test in the school? So this is something which is a matter of concern to all the students. And remember, we must find a solution very soon for this. We all that those who are the stakeholders of this should find a solution for that. The loneliness, I tell you, it can lead to a psychological disorder. He left his friends long ago, 3 months, and another 2 months time, we don't know what is going to happen. We can't predict the situation, and we can't think of like obliterating any kind of possibility also, like, and I don't know, like, therefore it is important at this point to provide some kind of psychological health to our children. It's not an easy task. It's very important actually. You must take it very religiously. So the insecurity the child has got and the loneliness he has got, missing all the people, all that fun and all, you have to address it as quickly as possible. At least if there are some online classes held, he can meet his teacher, he can meet some of his friends, he can answer the questions, and probably like he can attempt a test and all. So there are certain things which can be done as in a normal regular school, at least partly it can be done. And therefore, I strongly recommend the schools to conduct online classes and have a scheduled timetable for that, and inform all the students, earmark some time for all the subjects. Okay, we can't discount any subject there, and you can't think of you can't say it's obscure, but you have to provide a solution for that. And I just want to tell something very categorically to all the parents. It's all about, don't have this policy, wait and watch policy. Okay, let me see, once the schools reopen, I'll send. This is the case of all the students. It's not my son alone, my daughter alone and all that. That is preposterous, in fact. If you're thinking that, like, I can wait, I have all the time for that. And probably I can tell you, you are making a mistake there. If you think that there's so much of time. But don't tell me that, no, what is that I should do now as an individual. Probably you can meet the school and talk to the management, discuss, and find out an alternative for that, of course, what exactly has to be done. So you just chalk out a strategy and how your son can be engaged productively. And it's wait and watch policy is not no longer going to work. And I really don't think at this point of time, of course, it is something advisable. And see, online classes are running in many of the prestigious schools, and many schools which are like we may call them rural or budget schools or whatever it is, like, if they are not running the classes, there is going to be a divide in the society. Those who are having the privilege of attending the online classes and those who do not have the privilege of attending the classes. This gap is going to get widened, and this divide has to be filled. And you have to imbue, like here at this, whatever you have, the deep dark chasms have to be filled actually. You have to impregnate that. And so prestigious institutions are conducting online classes, but many students are missing. And probably government schools, of course, they're coming forward to provide some kind of, like a telecast. I really appreciate the government initiative to teach children, of course, some lessons, at least to keep in touch with the subject. They may not have interaction, the TV lessons. The students may not really have the organic touch that, okay, my teacher is here and I must keep quiet, I must sit properly, I must, maintain some kind of decency and decorum in the classroom. All these things may be different, but at the same time, you can't completely keep themselves away, and therefore at least a telecast, of course, might help to some extent. As far as the language skills of English and mathematics are concerned, I really don't think that this is going to help the students in any way. If the students keep themselves away from English, slowly they forget all the skills like reading, writing, listening, speaking and all that. How can you afford to keep the students away from that? Certainly it is an absurd idea. Like, similarly, mathematics has to be done. It needs a daily practice. A regular practice is essential actually. You can't think of students moving away from their daily practice. And therefore, I request all the parents one thing, you provide them the gadgets. Of course, they may misuse them, but you can't try ignorance in that place. And my point here is provide them the gadgets, internet access. It can be a phone, it can be a cheap tablet you can provide. These days it costs just 3,000, 4,000 bucks. Government is supplying them also. And therefore provide the gadgets and make sure that your children have got internet access and they comfortably they can participate in that online classes. They can meet the teachers, they can meet the friends, and somehow they are getting engaged productively like in the academic pursuits. And that's very, very essential. You can't do away with that. You can't think of oblongating that for a long time and see that, okay, let me see what is going to happen. Don't leave it for the destiny and don't leave it for this one. But do something, of course, very seriously in that case. And many people I have heard saying, do we need to talk about the ranks and marks? Because such a pandemic situation, we are in a dilemma, what to do and all that. And many people are, foregoing their jobs and all, and there is no income, and completely it has taken a beating. But let me tell you honestly one thing, marks are essential for all the qualifying exams. You can't do away with that. And ranks are essential for all the competitive examinations, either for a job or either for admissions in prestigious institutions. How can you do away with that? Your children are not too small, say, to do away with the exams, tests and all that. And therefore, don't believe if someone says that ranks and marks are not essential. Education, of course, and the quantity, if you have to quantify it, measure it, the only yardstick we have got is just examinations, marks and ranks. That's the only language people understand, of course, how a child has performed. But I have an important point to share with you. Government may have their own compulsions. So you should think of your own view. It need not be in consonance with what government is thinking. So my point here is, government should think of the society on the whole. Government should think of all sections of the society, whether that facility reaches everybody or not. And therefore, their obligation is different. And as a parent and as a head of an institution, your obligations are different. Okay, and therefore, I tell you one thing, even the government these days is contemplating providing, education, online education, you can say, or at least some, teaching using some media channels. Right? They are providing education to all the government school children. They have got a timetable, and many governments are doing it. And many governments are doing that very successfully, they are doing it. And therefore, private managements, no matter what kind of managements you are running, urban schools or rural schools, or I don't know that the kind of students you have got, but I tell you one thing, online education has come here to stay. You can't say that I want to have a traditional environment, ambience and all that, and let me wait for that. Probably you may not have it, of course, if the social distancing is the norm, if that has to be implemented very religiously. I don't think that we can run the classes exactly in the same way we were doing in the near future. How can you have 40, 50 students sitting close to each other in a small room, maybe a, like a 15 room or whatever it is? It's not possible. Like, our infrastructure may not immediately allow us to have the social distancing now. And in such a scenario, the students might have the school only for 1 day in a week, 2 days in a week, or maybe 3 hours in a week to allow the shift system to work. And therefore, it is not easy for us to think of something, like happening overnight. and everything is restored to the normal condition and all that. That might not happen. Certainly, if you are trying to envisage that situation, probably you are not ready to face even worse conditions. And therefore, if the government says don't pay the fees, I am asking and requesting the parents, please understand the school managements have to pay the building rents. They have got so many monthly installments because they might have purchased it on on hire basis. Several things, maybe it can be buses or it can be the furniture or it can be infrastructure, whatever it is, even the civil constructions. Do you think that they are very comfortable? In many cases, the answer is no. When they have to pay the installments and all that. And ultimately, the most important one, please don't ignore the payments to the staff members. You have an IMA working, of course, who takes care of your children, and her salary is 5,000 bucks. If she is not paid for 3 months, what do you think that they can eat? They have children at home to take care of. And therefore, I request all the parents, take it take a serious note of this one. The schools have to survive. The schools, we can't expect them to close down and completely raise their hands and say that we can't run. And that's the situation all over. I'm hearing from so many correspondents, of course, the situation is, of course, very, very alarming. It's a very strange situation. We have never faced this. There's no precedent for this one. Never did it happen. And see, you have to strengthen the system. You have to bolster up the system. You can't in any way destroy the system. Tomorrow your child has to go there once again. You can't cut the branch of the tree, of course, where you are resting. And therefore, it is all the more essential for you, at least to pay, either part or whole amount or whatever it is possible to you, and go and discuss with the management and tell them that, you need a little more time or whatever it is, but don't stay away completely. But the things do not work out like that. Schools do not run in this bankruptcy conditions. And therefore, my submission to all the parents is, make sure that your children attend some online classes, and make sure that you allow the schools to run in a very healthy way and provide all the facilities to the students. And I just tell you, if the schools have to run even the online classes, even if they engage, say, 10 teachers and providing them the laptops, providing them the digital, the internet access there, and all these things do not come easily, it is a whole structure again they have to revamp and provide all the facilities to run even the online classes. Teachers who are drawing a paltry sum as salaries, of course, don't expect them to go and buy a laptop, to go and buy the internet access there and think of providing the same kind of situation to the students. It is expecting much from them. It is expecting much. Teachers cannot take that task of taking care of all the things and provide them a normal classroom and from their home environment. It's not possible. And therefore, the things have changed in such a way that everything, of course, has to be redone. Everything, even for the managements. I was the other day talking to some correspondent. They were telling me, sir, we just have parked the buses, paying the taxes, paying the insurance. Can't we understand their agony? And the buses, they get damaged if you don't use them. And so much money is paid as upfront, and they are paying so much of money for installments. And buses are just parked there. And so several such things. It's not even that. There are several such things which were not envisaged. It was not in their mind at all that a situation would come like this and they have to face this one. They may have a little liquid cash, yes. How long does it help them to survive? Many schools, I am telling you honestly, honestly I am telling you. And many schools are at the verge of the closure. Tomorrow when our students go to attend the schools, you may not find the school there. It can be, turned into a commercial complex or something else. How long do they wait and wait for the parents to come and therefore we are in such a critical situation, and it's a matter of concern for all the parents, and think that something has to be done very seriously and expedite this process. We don't have so much of time for resolving all the impasse here. We don't have so much of time. At some point of time, that whatever, the standstill condition we have here, we just have to come out of this as quickly as possible. And the ball has to be set in motion. Don't think that, the government is going to resolve this one. Because we are all stakeholders. It's a matter of concern more to us than the government, because our own kids are studying in the schools. And I can only submit as an education consultant and well-wisher of the parents, students, and the school managements. I can tell only one thing: whatever has to be done, it has to be done on a war footing. And if we have some border issues with China, and this issue is as important as that, you have to fight for it. You have to fight and ensure that you provide a condition where our children can comfortably learn and continue their education without any gaps. And tomorrow your children have to appear for all the competitive examinations. By any chance, if government is reducing the portion or deferring the examination schedules, or completely cancellation of all the examinations, don't think that it is a favor for us. It is only to come out of the situation on a temporary basis. It does no good to the students. If the students say that 30% of the portion is completely waived off, do you think that it's going to benefit the students? Today, of course, to help the student pass that board examination, to allay his fears, to reduce his anxiety to some extent, maybe the portion is reduced. But how do you bridge the gap when he has to go to higher classes? And again, time and again I've been telling you, it is our responsibility again to bridge that gap. You can't send the students the same way with 30% reduced syllabus to a higher class. All the competitive examinations tomorrow might have perhaps the same syllabus as it was before. And therefore, whatever is happening, all the stakeholders, please watch very carefully. And whatever little has to be done, of course, do it and respond. Okay, very instantly you have to respond for this one, and make sure that the future generation, the next gen kids, are very comfortable as far as their academic growth is concerned, the intellectual or psychological or physical or emotional and social, all these developments, whatever you are talking about, and ensure that all these things happen. And thank you so much. I hope you give a serious thought to that. And I felt that I should express my sentiments so that people understand and think seriously and find a solution for this. Thank you so much and for your patient listening.